praises and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's turn it up. Let's turn it up and turn up. This is a Freedman Friday because every Friday around here is a Freedman Friday. So what does that even mean? It means that hour one, we look local. Hour two, we look at reparations always and always. Returning to reparations, we want to be part of the progress, part of the education, want to know better, do better, and make sure this momentum continues. And make no mistake, the momentum is real. Hour three, it's kind of a grab bag hour three around here on a Friday. It's you never know what you might get. Today we'll be talking to attorney Carl Douglas. He had some blazing insights for you on 30 years since the OJ verdict and putting that side by side with what's happening with Diddy, what happened with Diddy, where we are, what's next. He's always fun to talk to and very captivating. So we'll be talking with attorney Carl Douglas. You know him from OJ Dream Team fame, but also he's in private practice as Douglas Hicks. Also, he has got a great op-ed about this moment. What if OJ happened today? What if that verdict happened today? Wow. So, jam-packed show, and guess who's at bat right now? He is a regular KBLA contributor and the president of ES Advisors. They do public policy and electoral campaign consulting. Done it for decades. Ed Sanders, good morning.
Hey, Dominique, good morning to you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed. What's happy about it, Ed? I woke up grouchy today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed this morning and I'm trying to find my way back.
Yeah, only one more day till college football, so I'm happy.
It's the little things. It's the little things. Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot to be thankful for. I feel like living in California is something to be thankful for right now as we see, the state protecting itself in ways that maybe smaller states can't. Although from what I understand, the polling on Prop 50 is not amazing. And I think it's because people don't understand it, but I could be wrong.
We've talked about it. There's not. Look, I mean, in the end game, if you're motivated to do whatever it takes to try to balance the scales in the Congress, then I think you feel highly motivated for Prop 50. I think there's still a lot of people that are holding that. That's a change too far, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. How I feel about it. My sense is that gerrymandering for whatever cause is not a good reason to gerrymander. Essentially we can win these elections if we focus on what we're saying to people and talk to people with the message that brings them to the poll.
I mean, the thing
trust me, if you could change the lines, and you could change the lines and still not motivate people to the polls. I mean, it'd be a shame to change.
And I understand your point. You're saying that if people don't, if the Democrats don't run on the issues, or the Republicans or whoever, the Green Party don't run on the issues, then the lines don't matter. And I understand that point. I just think people don't get it. I saw a commentary on Instagram yesterday where, this woman was going on and on about how Prop 50 erases Black California. And to me, she totally missed the point of Prop 50. Like she was passionate about it. And it made me very worried because I felt like if that's how people are analyzing this and they don't get that it's just about keeping Republicans from executing this power grab unchallenged, which is actually really their racial gerrymandering is the problem, not the Democrats' racial gerrymandering. The fact that she had it all twisted up like that, and I kind of know what crowd that is. When I say that, I'm talking about many of the folks that are now experiencing FAFO because they decided that, Biden and Trump were the same.
Yeah, that's about as laughable a notion as there comes. They couldn't be two different
And yeah, and I'm
presidents.
not saying he's perfect, by the way. I'm pretty sure anyone that listens to this program knows that.
Yeah, but still, I'm stuck on words, but the notion that what the Republican Party is going to do to the South, once they're able to strike this voting rights provision in a few days, if they haven't already done it yet, coupled with what they're already doing at the state level, the South, we're going to see very real gerrymandering and very real voter oppression, right? These 5 seats aren't going to matter to that. That it's not going to tip the scale in that space.
It could, Ed. It really could. You know why I say that? We know Texas is serving up 5 right now, so at least you counteract Texas. And we don't know for sure that all of those southern states are going to automatically be able to implement that gerrymandering. Some of them have to put it to a vote like we do. Some of them have other weird arcane rules that they've got to work around. They don't automatically get to gerrymander, so I don't think you just give up and decide that, well, they have an edge. And even if the Supreme Court makes this terrible, drastic decision that they're probably going to make to get rid of the protection from discrimination in voting districts, they're not going to be able to wave a magic wand and instantly do all that redistricting. So we can keep fighting. We can go down fighting and, hold off the hordes of, white supremacists as long as we can.
Sure. I don't disagree with you on that notion. The time that it'll take for them to fix, those maps coincides, with when Prop 50 would subset, right? Like, I think when does
you're saying it sunsets on 2030, and that's right when all those red maps would be kicking in.
Right.
Yeah, but
right.
We could have a revolution by then. We
look, it feels like it. Look, I keep saying it, Dominique, because people gotta start thinking this way and start preparing for stuff like that. When you see Black Hawk helicopters flying into Chicago, it's not long before they're flying into any major city.
Yeah. And we've got No Kings, which they're trying to spin as the anti-America march, when that is the true patriotism, standing up for your democracy in a time when it is being clearly, and there's just no hyperbole. No matter what crazy thing I say, it's not going to match the crap that they're doing. So how is that? We don't know what can happen between now and 2030. I think we got to hold the line now. I think these folks are overreaching. The terrible things that they're doing will be felt more widely by 2030. So, I'm not going to hold off on the high road for maps in 2030. Man, fight every way you can that doesn't, harm people.
You're not wrong there. I'm gonna be contrarian a bit, though. This party hasn't shown that they can fight Trump, right? Like, what are we expecting?
I'm not talking about the party. I'm talking about the people.
Letter.
Yeah, a strongly worded letter. Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries shaking his fist at you. Ooh, I'm trembling. I'm not talking about the party. I'm talking about the people. Ed Sanders is here. See, I'm struggling with words too. And then you can call us at 800-920-1580. Hop in the conversation in the comments on YouTube at KBLA 1580. We're keeping it going. It's Friday. Woohoo! KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MAJOR25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-259-9922. 800-259-9922. That's 800-259-9922.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-297-1563 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-297-1563. That's 800-297-1563. What do you have to lose? Call 800-297-1563. Again, 800-297-1563.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to put on your public policy expert hat, Ed, and explain some things to me like I was 8. The county board of supervisors declared an state of emergency in the county around the immigration raids, the ICE raids on Tuesday. And they say that, that means, I don't know, some more support for immigrant families. But what does that actually mean? And for the record, Supervisor Barger did vote against that. Everyone else voted for it. What does that mean?
I saw that. I think in general, it is streamlining access to county resources, right?
Okay.
And that's generally what you get when you declare a state of emergency, is that if there are some service providers that they could go forward with the service, knowing that the county is going to backstop some of the funding. It's a smoother way to get funding to the more directly to people that need the service. So I saw that briefly. I haven't taken a deep dive on it.
And I know some Black folks are angry about this because where's the state of emergency on racism? We had a state of emergency for the city, or we have one on houselessness. And I was one of the panel hosts for the State of Black LA yesterday by the LA Urban League and the Anti-Racism and Diversity and Inclusion Department of the county. And one of the data points that really clobbered me over the head was that although we've had a decrease in houselessness for 2 years in a row for the city and county, homelessness among Black people is trending up. What the actual, I mean, that I didn't see coming in the data. I figure since we're the most unhoused, if the numbers are going down, our numbers must be going down. But our numbers are going the other way. And again, I have a lot of empathy for the folks that are having their lives torn apart by ICE. I'm really heartened that people are standing up to that. And where are the emergency funds for unhoused families? Where is the emergency? Again, Black people, the RD data shows, have the highest level of unemployment of anybody in the county. Where's that doggone emergency? Black women are the ones being fired by this administration in Washington. Where is our state of emergency?
Yeah, since you could say it all again and louder because you're not wrong. And I think you kicked off the show and spoke sort of about my decades of experience and and I heard decades and kind of stopped, but you kind of look at this, Dominique. But
well, at least two, Ed, right?
I know, but we've been working on these issues for decades now, and it's Friday morning. I'm trying to stay upbeat, but this administration casts such a cloud over optimism, and that it's not just on the federal level. It's on the state level. It comes down to the local level because we've been dealing with these issues for, quite some time. And, I think we've put forward ideas, elected leaders have put forward ideas. Government can't solve every problem, but you do need government to act. And when, as you are pointing out, we don't feel like government is zeroing in on some of the more critical issues, then it should trouble us. It should motivate us.
We don't need government to solve every problem. I agree, but they should solve as many as they can, number one. And number two, that's our doggone money. You know what I mean? It's not like they're getting money from Santa in the sky. That's our money. We pay those taxes, and they're pretty steep if you live in LA. And so I think it's a fair question. Why is there not more specified response to the clear crisis of Black Angelenos being pushed out, priced out, beat up, beat down, killed, murdered, unhoused, discriminated against in jobs, in even getting a place to live if you have the money? You're right. It's Friday.
That, my friend, is the title of a Reparation Friday.
Yeah, Freedman Friday.
Series,
right.
Yeah, that is in essence what reparations really should be, right? And you're asking the salient point, and I think everyone listening and everyone in the chat is going to agree with you on that. And I think you'd have a hard time walking through Black households hearing that and saying, "Yeah, what are we doing?"
And I feel like it's like them pitting us against each other, because there's no reason why people shouldn't get support during ICE raids. It's ridiculous. It's terrible. It's offensive. The fact that they're abridging everybody's rights, kidnapping people. But the fact that you decide, it's just, you constantly decide to bend over backwards and jump through hoops to help one community when they're in crisis and not so much the other one. And really, it doesn't make sense for electeds, because the Black LA community votes above our weight class. We are a much larger percentage of voters than we are of the population. So really, you should be kissing our butts.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of this is, what do we need to do to change this, right? This has never been a sit and watch and see what elected officials will do for us.
True.
This really is about forcing the hand, right?
Yeah.
And we've got a great group of people that represent us, to the core. And so, from this show to them, I see the folks in the chat, let's sign a petition, get it going, right? Like, and make the ask, and really honestly, this is a make the ask of our allies. I mean, that's one point I would always throw out there. I hate when our leaders put forward an idea and our supposed allies are nowhere to be seen, right? And that's even more disheartening. I would love to see an ally suggest this. Not that it has to come from us, right? I don't want our community to seem petty about this, but someone else should see this and suggest it.
A couple things. We're right up against news, traffic, and sports. A couple things I want to tee up. One, you sent me, DM me an article, which I hadn't seen, about the LAPD asking to be able to use more force against the press. Yeah, I didn't make that up. And then the other thing is, if you were advising Katie Porter, who's running for governor, who's had a rough week, what would you tell her? I mean, after she was, yelling at reporters and walking off an interview, and then Politico dropped another clip of her yelling at a staffer and being, what the LA Times is saying, she's a mean boss. What would you tell her? Can she bounce back? Will it matter in a few months when the elections heat up? Ed Sanders and Dominique DePrima, more of us and you right after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Detroit, Michigan human rights attorney Huwaida Araf is back home after being released from Israeli custody.
Palestinians, including children, are locked away for months and years without charge and subjected to torture, including rape.
She was among 145 people detained while trying to deliver over $110,000 in humanitarian aid to Gaza. Habitat for Humanity is building its first home in historically Black Altadena's Eaton Fire burn zone. Black couple Kenneth and Carol Wood, both in their 80s, lost their home and are excited to move into their new house. It's one of 25 homes planned, all designed to match the neighborhood's original style. And Michelle Obama will promote her new fashion book, The Look, through a 6-part podcast series with her brother Craig Robinson. IMO, The Look, launches November 5th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you really know what's in your tap water? We believe your water should support your health, not work against it. Upgrade your home with a LifeSource whole house system. Clean water from every tap, no salt, no hassle. Call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Week 7 of the NFL regular season begins tonight with the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. You need to be a Prime Video subscriber to watch the game at home. Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin, one of 5 African-American head coaches in the NFL, is 4-1. Tampa Bay's Todd Bowles is 5-1. He's in first place in the NFC South Division. The one coach among the 5 that needs a win in the worst way is Aaron Glenn of the New York Jets. The Jets are 0-6 in Glenn's first season with the team. The Jets are at home Sunday against Carolina. Show some love for Glenn this weekend. He could use it. We are 9 days away from the first ever HBCU football game in Las Vegas, Jackson State versus Grambling. Saturday, October 25th at Allegiant Stadium, home field of the NFL Las Vegas Raiders. If you're thinking about going, check for tickets at Ticketmaster.com. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. We thank you. 800-920-1580. If you want to say a thing and weigh in on a thing, Ed Sanders is here. So you DM'd me this article, which was fascinating. I had been following the way the LAPD has been racking up the numbers in terms of the so-called less than lethal force hitting reporters with rubber bullets and pepper spraying us and beating us up. There's a lawsuit, actually, civil suit, reporters suing, and a judge has ordered the LAPD to quit attacking journalists, place restrictions on them. But I hadn't seen that they are quietly asking the judge to say, no, let us beat up journalists. Make it make sense.
They've got an appeal coming up here in November, and it, this stems from LAPD actions in quote crowd control, really back in sort of the instances of ICE raids as they first started. But I mean, you and I could point back to the BLM protests and certainly past that, where LAPD was heavy-handed in its crowd control ethics. In this case, I think there were some very specific instances, and coming to my mind, I have to look, but I can remember seeing video of like an LAPD officer pointing and firing, the beanbag at a reporter filming, right? And they generally know where the reporters are because the reporters kind of huddle in sort of the same area, right? Whenever you have a protest like that.
Yeah. And plus, a lot of times they're holding up a badge. I mean, in a couple of these instances, we're holding up the press pass, which you get from LAPD. Like you have to go down to the LAPD, which I think is a problem. They need to change that. How are the LAPD in charge of deciding which reporters get to cover the LAPD? That's problematic. But anyway, so on what justification are they saying we should be able to keep, attacking reporters?
I mean, look, in the end game, what they're saying is that, they can't identify given the badge and the identification that you just described, that they can't identify press and that it puts officers at risk. And what the judge is saying, that risk, given that you have the ability to identify them, doesn't allow you to, threaten First Amendment rights, right? And that, I think the judge is making the right call there. And it really is, when you look at law enforcement going before the courts, they're just asking for blanket authority, and there's no accountability on the behavior of officers. They don't really answer to what the officers had done, and the suit clearly laid out a couple issues or instances where officers were violent towards press. And so
it's a lot. There's quite a few of them.
Holds.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a few of them. And here's the thing, Ed, you gave out the press pass. It's big. I used to have one. I don't like going down there. They make you take fingerprints. You have to wait a long time. It's a whole thing. And now you're saying that thing is useless because you can't identify us. Plus, a lot of those cops know the reporters because it's the same people. It's not like there's thousands
when I immediately
of reporters.
thought about it, I thought about there are some real investigative reporters that have studied LAPD operations, and a couple of them post on social media. And when you see their posts, that they are stinging with their critiques of LAPD. And I was thinking that was just for them.
It's the same people. No, it's not just for them. They've got public radio people. They've got LA Times people. It's not just, it's not just what you're talking about, the more left leaning, influencers and writers and stuff. And even those shouldn't be attacked, by the way.
Right. I'm not advocating for them to be attacked. I was thinking that they're the first ones that are going to get it, right? Like that's the gist of it is when you see the protests and this large crowd, the officers know those guys, right? Because they've seen them time and again. To your point, these actors, and officers and I shouldn't call them actors. Everyone tends to see each other at these different
it's the
protests,
same people.
right?
You stop playing like you don't know who we are. Come on now. Y'all know who we are. You've been surveilling us on social media, reading the articles, and that's really disingenuous. Okay, so what do you tell Katie Porter, Ed Sanders? You've advised many a campaign. LA Times is saying she's a mean boss, and so therefore she should not be the governor. It's a bad look. But
it's a bad look.
Yeah,
it's a bad look. It as you're asking, as you went to break, I was thinking about it. I don't know what I would tell Katie. There's so many layers to it, right? I've heard the critique. She's experiencing something as a woman that men don't tend to experience. I don't agree with that.
I mean, there is a double standard. There's some things that men can do and they'll say, oh, wow, he's so effective. And if we say it, they'll call us a B. But I don't know that this falls into that category. You're just yelling at staffers and yelling at a reporter. I think if a man did that, I'm not answering those questions. You got 7 follow-ups for every question. He would look dumb too. That's a problem. You're there to answer questions. Like that's what it is. And these comms people now, Ed, they think everybody's supposed to have all the questions all the time. They get on my last nerve. No, it's an interview. It's a conversation. And I can give you all these questions and there's no guarantee I'm going to ask those questions anyway. So lighten up. Like the crazy thing is when I interviewed Kamala Harris, I didn't have to give her the questions, but the dog catcher's comms director wants a list of questions and so they can prepare their answers. No, you don't get the test before. That's not how it works. And I'm not a gotcha question person anyway, but dude, you're there to answer questions. Relax and answer questions.
Yeah, listen, I agree with that. And listen, there are so many issues. I don't expect you to know the answers to, if I'm going to ask some obscure question.
Right.
But generally, if you're interviewing a candidate for governor, you're going to ask questions that most people want to hear. And you just may ask them from the perspective of your audience. But, we all kind of want to know the same thing. Are you going to keep her safe? How are you going to help grow the economy? Those sorts of things.
Yeah, and also
not obscure questions.
It's our job to ask follow-up questions because most politicians, no shade, many have some friends that are politicians, but most politicians answer you with talking points. And to get beyond the talking points to something that's interesting to my listeners or your readers, we have to ask follow-up questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what's funny is even through that, I don't even know the topic that she was being asked, but
the topic was how are you going to reach Republican voters in California?
That's right.
That's
right.
I mean, that to me is that's a softball question. It's not personal. It's just political. You can say I don't care if that's what but that's not a hard question. So if that's the question that makes you flip, what are you going to do under actual pressure?
Well, and then it's that that reaction, but I think what troubles people more is the way she was speaking to staff, right?
Yeah. Get out of my effing shot.
Right. That sort of belittling tone with staff is it's just unbecoming, right? I've managed teams in the past. I hope I've never spoken to someone like that,
Well, and we can all crack under pressure, but when you're the governor, that's going to be a problem. Kevin.
Yeah, but no, we don't all crack under pressure, right? Like it's maturity. And I think what you're seeing is that there's multiple instances of this of her tone with staff.
Yeah, because the Politico article and some others detail a bunch of others that are not on tape. So it's clearly a pattern. Cavett Haynes says the dog catcher would hate me because I would ask them, why must I chase the cat? Okay, Cavett. we see you. I think it's going to be a problem. Did you see the LA Times has an article about how everyone is supposedly asking this rising star in the Democratic Party to run for mayor of LA? And they're talking about Lindsey Horvath. I almost spit my water when I saw that article. Did her publicist write it? What is happening? I don't think everybody is asking Lindsey Horvath, who was mayor of the city of West Hollywood, which has like 12 people in it, to run the city of LA. I don't think so.
Right.
I don't know. Go ahead.
After the fires, and if we take ourselves back to February, you could very clearly see reactions in the press, really from several elected officials around the region that were, you could tell, trying to position themselves with a higher profile in hopes of something later, right?
Yeah.
And I think there are a number of folks on the city council that you could point to. I think there's some folks on the supervisory board. Folks were trying to use the emergency as a platform, basically.
For political gain, and that's when Supervisor Horvath started attacking the mayor and leaking, text messages and things to the LA Times. But and she's supposed to be a progressive, but to me, that's a point of, we'll call it privilege. You fill in the adjective yourself, because how you just screwed up Measure J that we fought literally for decades to get in. Measure J, the Care First budgeting for LA County. You just messed it up by fast tracking Measure G, which a lot of others told you we need more time to look at this, and you fast tracked it anyway, and you tanked Measure J, and now everyone thinks you should run for mayor. Make it make sense. You already messed up, the county. They haven't figured out how to fix that yet. But you think that means you're qualified to run a whole huge city? I don't think so.
Listen, when you read your headlines, you get you start to believe them, right? And
Yeah.
and listen, and part of the importance, and I will always commend you. Part of the importance of this show is the long memory that you have of people's actions, right?
Yeah, not long enough, but yeah.
You start filing these things away because as people come forward, they have to answer to this, right?
Yeah.
And particularly people from allied communities, right? Because they're not always good on our issues, and they think we've forgotten from time to time, right? If she wants to run, but put yourself on the line, and you're going to quickly realize that the vast majority of voters in Los Angeles had a different take on what she was doing on the county seat.
Does she even live in
relative to that
LA?
issue.
I mean, city of LA. She was.
Sounds
there.
like she's moved into LA since she became supervisor.
Oh, how convenient. Well, what about Buettner? Austin Buettner's running for mayor now. He's a former LA unified superintendent. What do you think of that move?
That's going to be interesting. I think
interesting is,
I look at it
I'm
from the
starting to
mayor's
agree with
perspective.
Tavis. Interesting is one of those words that actually doesn't mean anything. What do you mean? It's going to be interesting.
Just some more word salad.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing. Yeah, okay.
Look, I look at it from the perspective of the mayor, right? I'm a Karen Bass fan and root for her and all of this. Austin presents a challenge. He presents a different challenge than a Rick Caruso.
Right.
Right. Like Rick Caruso is on the right side of the spectrum of politics, and when you get a Caruso versus Bass, even if you disagreed with anything in sort of the first term, the idea of pivoting and going to a conservative doesn't sit well. The dichotomy against Austin, now you're getting into really a passionate argument about the policies and programs that the city is running. And, in each one of these, I look forward to seeing the energy that comes from the mayor, right? When presented with a challenge, he tends to rise to the job.
But does that knock Caruso out? I mean, does Caruso still run, or was he not running anyway? Is he running for governor? I mean, can we have two white billionaires in the race, even though he's, 10 minutes ago, a Republican? And as far as I know, Buettner's never been a Republican. So they're very different flavors, but they're still both white billionaires. Do we have room for two of those in the LA mayor's race?
If I'm Caruso, I couldn't beat Karen Bass. I don't, and I'm not describing Austin as a stronger, but he's going to be, presumably he would be well funded. And from Caruso's perspective, I don't think he would run. I don't know that he was gearing up to run anyway. I know there was a lot of chatter about it. But,
well, there are signs. I mean,
yeah.
There are signs. He's been gathering allies and donating to campaigns and taking positions and launching charities. I mean, there are signs. The only thing missing is a book. He needs a memoir, The Audacity of the Palisades or something. I don't know. I think there are. He's running for something, Ed Sanders. It might not be mayor.
He's got, governor was sitting there, it's almost the same thing. Like he's been, I don't know that he's been doing it, but he's been the subject of conversation between governor, mayor, all those sorts of things. Sure. I don't sit and hinge and wait on whether he's going to run or not.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just curious how the puzzle pieces fall into place. That's the nerd wonk side of me. When we come forward, we're gonna keep it going. I got questions, Ed Sanders. I know you got answers. And what is happening with these indictments? The John Bolton is the latest coming out of Washington. I want to hear your thoughts on that before before we flip over to Freedman Friday. Chris Lodgson of CJEC joins me. That should be interesting. We'll get his reaction to what happened, what's happening in California with these bills. That's all coming up on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in the National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. And now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
They say the hardest part of getting something done is getting started. Well, we did that 30 years ago, when California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down 60%, lung cancer 52%. A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible, it's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, Ed Sanders is here. So they are, John Bolton, who used to be a member of the former Trump administration, is indicted now. And it seems like an indictment a day, but this one might be a little different, right? Because he was being investigated under the first Trump administration. Then the investigation continues through the Biden administration, and now he's being indicted by under the Trump DOJ. On the one hand, it seems like, okay, Bolton, Comey, Letitia James, but on the other hand, this one may be different, more legit, or no?
I mean, the motivation is still the same, right?
Yeah.
Like he is definitely going after anyone that he perceives as that wronged him legally. And like let me first start with like a quick critique of the prior attorney generals, right? Like Merrick Garland. A lot of this stuff sat at the attorney general's desk and didn't move. And there were a lot of things that we talked about, but I don't know that I honestly, even now, like we talked about Russian collusion a whole lot. I don't even know whether there was or wasn't anymore. The point being,
I mean, it sure looked like there was. They just didn't charge it.
I don't, I don't know. Right. Like, and I hate to say that. I sound like Trump. I can't believe I just said that. I don't know.
It was a witch hunt.
But the point being that they didn't charge him, and if in his mind, he doesn't feel like it was there, that, he's going back after these guys. Right. And when Comey was indicted, look, on the right and on the left, Comey doesn't have a big audience of friends, right? Like, there's not a whole lot of people making tears for Comey. And John Bolton is the same way, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't lift a finger to help
18
John
counts of retaining and transmitting classified information going back to the first Trump term. And they're saying he emailed stuff to his family and had them type it up for him. Classified information over regular email. I mean, that sounds like a problem, but I mean, again, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to sound like Ed now. I don't know what really happened.
I don't
Who
know.
knows? But I mean, as a national security advisor, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be emailing your wife classified information. Say, honey, type this up for me, would you? Like, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
That's not how it should work. He went after Hillary for the server. Bolton's going to have to spend a ton of money trying to defend himself. And, in the end game, I bet there's something there for him. But listen, again, on John Bolton, I could care less, right? Like that, this is not
you just shrug and keep it pushing. You don't care. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. There's so many things I didn't get to today on this day, but we've got, we can talk about it on social media. We can talk about it next week. You can find Ed at Edward M. Sanders on Twitter. I'm there too, still. DePrima Radio, still getting battered by the trolls on Twitter. Anything else? Anywhere else we can find you, Ed?
Yeah. So today we're doing some work with Mayor Bass and Councilmember Heather Hutt. We're talking about emergency preparedness. I teased out some of the conversations after the fire earlier, and any emergency that might hit South LA. We're having a conversation at Michelle and Barack Obama Sports Complex this morning. There's a fair with city departments passing out resources. Anyone that's free from 9:30 to 1, stop by Michelle and Barack Obama Sports Complex on the city park on Obama Boulevard. A lot of good information. At least it starts us thinking about what we would do as a community if an emergency like an earthquake or, fire in Baldwin Hills or something along those lines struck South LA. And it's something that we should think about. It's something that we should talk about now as opposed to waiting for the emergency. So looking forward to that this morning.
All right. Thank you, Ed Sanders, Michelle and Barack Obama Center. We'll see you there. We got news, traffic, and sports on Friedman Friday next.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Detroit, Michigan human rights attorney Huwaida Araf is back home after being released from Israeli custody.
Palestinians, including children, are locked away for months and years without charge and subjected to torture, including rape.
She was among 145 people detained while trying to deliver over $110,000 in humanitarian aid to Gaza. Habitat for Humanity is building its first home in historically Black Altadena's Eaton Fire burn zone. Black couple Kenneth and Carol Wood, both in their 80s, lost their home and are excited to move into their new house. It's one of 25 homes planned, all designed to match the neighborhood's original style. And Michelle Obama will promote her new fashion book, The Look, through a 6-part podcast series with her brother Craig Robinson. IMO, The Look, launches November 5th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you really know what's in your tap water? We believe